Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well out there on this fine November day, and in this video we'll be going through some early Black Friday camera deals on Amazon in 2021. Now the deals listed in this video are mainly geared toward photographers and videographers on a budget. So what we're going to be doing is going through a few different categories of camera brands such as GoPro, Canon, Sony, Nikon, and Panasonic. And I've personally gone through Amazon and picked out what I think are the best early deals out there right now. Also, if you guys do want to check out any of these cameras listed in this video, make sure you use the links down in the description below. Because if you guys do end up buying anything from those links, it'll help out the channel a little bit and it won't cost you anything extra. With that all said, let's get into it. Now before we get started with the first category, I want to briefly talk about lightning deals. Lightning deals are deals on Amazon that are only offered for a very short amount of time, and they usually offer a larger percentage discount. So if you do end up going to Amazon looking for these regular deals on cameras and camera gear, it's also a good idea to check out these lightning deals as well. Alright, that's enough about lightning deals. Now let's get started with the first category. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that each one of my categories is going to have 5 different products. Amazon is offering more that I have listed on my list, but I just wanted to narrow down what I thought were the best options that they were offering at the moment. Alright, now let's get into the first category. The first category on my list here is GoPro. For some early Black Friday deals, GoPro is offering some decent discounts. Nothing too crazy, but let's get started with the first product on my list. And the first one up is the GoPro Hero 10 Black. The original price Amazon has this listed at is $499.99, and the discounted price is $449.99. That means they're offering a 10% discount on this GoPro. Like I said, a lot of these discounts aren't crazy good. Still having to pay $450 for a GoPro Hero 10 Black is probably too much for somebody working with a budget. Moving on with the second GoPro item on this list, which is the GoPro Hero 7 Black with an extra battery. The list price of this item is $249.99, and the discount price is $203.99, meaning that it has an 18% off discount. Honestly, in my opinion, this is probably one of the better deals that GoPro's offering on this list, so be on the lookout for this GoPro Hero 7 with an extra battery. And then after that, we have another pretty good deal, which is the GoPro Hero 7 Black with a few accessories. It comes with an extra battery, a Super Suit Dive housing case, and a 64GB SD card. And the original listing price for this item is $279.99, and the sale price is $237.99, which means it has a 15% off discount. Again, this is probably one of the better deals on the GoPro list, so be on the lookout for this item as well. Moving on from that, we have the next item, which is the GoPro Hero 9 Black. The list price for this item is $399.99, and the discount price is $349.99. That means that the GoPro Hero 9 Black has a 13% off discount. I'm guessing this is another deal that budget-friendly photographers and videographers aren't going to be looking at. Now for the final item on GoPro's list. It's another Hero 9 Black, but it comes with a few extra accessories. It comes with a dual battery charger, a carrying case, and 2 extra batteries. And the list price for this item is $449.98, and the deal price is $399.98, which means it has a discount of 11% off. And this is another item on GoPro's list that you're not going to be looking at if you're on a budget. Alright, that's it for the GoPro category. Now let's move into the next one, which is my favorite category, Canon camera gear. The first item on my list for this category is the Canon EF 24mm f2.8 lens. Amazon has this lens listed at $149 even, and the discount price is $129 even, which means this lens has a 13, I don't know which way it is. It has a 13% off discount. Now this is one of the best deals in this category, especially for Canon APS-C shooters. This lens is already super cheap at $149, and the fact that they're dropping it down to $129 is just like, what? And yes, I get it, it's still a beginner lens, but anyone working with a budget is gonna love this deal. Anyways, enough about the 24mm, let's move on to the next item on the list. And that next item on the list is the Canon EOS M50 Mark II Creator Kit. And the list price of this item is $899.99, and the discount price is $799.00, which means it has a discount of 11% off. Now the reason I think this deal is so good is because you get so much included in this creator kit. You get the Canon M50 Mark II, which is a relatively new camera, the EF 15 to 45mm lens, a tripod grip, and a shotgun microphone. So it's basically a perfect little vlogging kit for only about $800. Anyways, let's move on from that into the next item. And that next item on the list is the Canon 17 to 40mm f4 L series lens. This is definitely the biggest discount in the Canon category. It was originally listed at $799 and now it's discounted down to $499. That means it has a discount of 38% off. Yeah, I don't really need to say anything other than you'd only be paying $500 for a Canon L series lens. Anyways, now onto the next item on the list, the Canon EOS R with an RF 24 to 105 f4 to 7.1 IS lens. Now all you budget people out there aren't going to like this one at all because it comes in at an original list price of $2,099 and then a discount price of $1,899, and that's only at 10% off. So no, this deal isn't the best, but I still wanted to include it on this list because you get the Canon EOS R with the kit lens for only $1899. Alright, and now for the final item in the Canon category, which isn't even a Canon product technically, but it's the Sigma 35mm f1.4 art lens for Canon EF. Now this is another pretty good deal in this category. It comes in at an original list price of $899 and then it has a discount price of $699, which means it has a 22% off discount. $200 off a lens like this is a really good deal for a few reasons. First off, the Sigma lens is an art lens, which means it's one of Sigma's professional grade lenses. Secondly, it has a max aperture of f1.4. And finally, 35mm is a pretty good mid-range focal length. Alright, and that wraps up the Canon category. Now let's move on to the next category, which is Sony cameras. And I'm going to tell you this right now, any camera that was made within the last 10 years, actually every camera that I have on my list for this video is definitely going to be good enough for just about every scenario you run into. So most of you budget shooters out there, all these cameras on the list are going to be plenty good for whatever you need them for. With that said, let's get into the first item, which is the Sony ZV-1. This camera's original list pricing is $798 and its discount price is $648. That means it has a discount of 19% off. Now keep in mind this camera is a point and shoot camera, so it's not going to have all the functions of a DSLR or even a mirrorless camera, but it's still going to be good enough for most of you budget shooters out there. I don't want to go into too much depth on the specs and features of each item on this list, otherwise this video would be like 10 hours long. So let's get into the next item. That next item being the Sony RX100 Mark VII. This camera was listed at $1,298 and its discount price is $1,198, meaning this camera has an 8% off discount. And keep in mind this is another point and shoot camera, so again you're not going to get all those specs and features as you would with a DSLR or mirrorless camera. And moving on from that, we have the next item, which is the Sony RX100 Mark VI. And honestly, I don't think this camera is really worth it because it's only $100 cheaper than the Sony RX100 Mark VII, the one I just talked about. So that means the discount price of the Sony RX100 Mark VI is $1,098 and the list price is $1,198. That means this camera has an 8% off discount as well. And then after that, we have an item that I've never even seen or heard of, which is the Sony RX0 Mark II. This camera is honestly pretty cool because it's like Sony's version of the GoPro. However, do I think it's worth the price tag of $698 for the listing price and $648 for the discount price? Probably not. Still pretty cool though that Sony made a super compact camera like this. Now for the final item in the Sony camera category, the Sony Alpha A6600. The list price of this is $1,398 and the discount price is $1,198, which means it has a 14% off discount. Now this is another high priced item on this list so I'm not really sure if I'd recommend buying this item, just because you can find a lot of other cameras for much cheaper than $1,198, especially in APS-C. You can find Canon cameras, Canon APS-C cameras, for much cheaper than this. You can find Fujifilm cameras, APS-C cameras, for much cheaper than this. So just look around and shop around, and I'm sure you'll find better deals than this camera. Alright, that's enough for Sony cameras. Now let's move on to the next category, which is Sony lenses. Now I had to separate Sony cameras and Sony lenses into two different categories because there were so many deals offered for Sony branded things. With that said, let's get into the first item in the Sony lens category, which is the Sony FE 24 to 105mm f4 G OSS lens. The list price of this lens is $1,399.99, and the discount price is $1,098, meaning that it has a 22% off discount. Now, I don't know much about Sony lenses, but in my opinion, this is a pretty good deal. Yes, it is another high-ticket item, but if you're an intermediate shooter, I'm guessing this is probably the lens for you. Alright, that's enough about that lens. Now let's move on to the next item, which is the Sony FE 35mm f1.8 lens. This lens's original listing price was $748, and its discount price is $648, which means it has a 13% off discount. Now, I'm pretty sure the FE means that it was made for full-frame Sony cameras. So if that's true, only having to pay $648 for a full-frame Sony lens seems like a pretty good deal to me. Now, I'm not sure if this lens is one of Sony's professional grade lenses like Canon L series, because I'm pretty sure Sony's professional grade lenses are called G Master. So keep that in mind, that this might not be a professional grade Sony lens. With that said, let's move on to the next item on the list, which is the Sony E 18 to 135mm f3.5 to 5.6 OSS lens. The list price for this lens is $648, and the discount price is $548. That means it has a discount of 15% off. Now, in my opinion, this is probably one of the better lenses to get for Sony APS-C cameras, and I say that because you have such a good focal range to play with. Now, I'm assuming this lens is made for beginners, so the focal range from 18 to 135 is going to show them what focal range they like the most. That way, when they have more professional gear down the road, they'll know what focal length they like using the most. Therefore, they'll know what lens they'll want to purchase. Anyways, let's move on to the next item on the list, which is the Sony FE 24-70 f2.8 G Master lens. This lens was originally listed at $2,338.79, and its discount price is $1,998.00, which means it has a discount of 15% off. This one's definitely not marketed toward anyone on a budget because it's close to $2,000, and rightfully so because it's one of Sony's pro-grade lenses. Anyways, now for the last lens in this category, the Sony E 20mm f2.8. The list price of this lens is $344.86, and it was discounted down to $298. That means it has a 14% off discount. Now, this is definitely the best budget option APS-C lens in this category, and that's just because it's super cheap, it has a good focal length, and it has a low max aperture. Alright, that's it for the Sony lens category. Now let's move on to the next category, which is Nikon camera gear. So just like with the Sony cameras and lenses, I don't know much about the Nikon cameras or lenses. Basically, anything that isn't Canon, I don't know much about. So just keep that in mind as we're going through these last few items. Alright, so first up in the Nikon camera gear category is the Nikon AF-S DX 35mm f1.8G lens. This lens was listed at $199.95, and it was discounted down to $176.95, giving it a discount percentage of 12% off. Now, this is the only item in this category that doesn't have a Z mount, and all that means is that it isn't made for Nikon mirrorless cameras. All I can really tell you about this lens is that it's made for APS-C cameras, and it's 35mm, and it has a max aperture of f1.8. So basically everything you probably already knew about this lens. Moving on to the next item in this category, we have the Nikon Z 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 S lens. The list price of this lens is $2,296.95, and the discount price is $1,996.95, meaning it has a 13% off discount. Now, I'm pretty sure this is one of Nikon's professional grade Z mount lenses, so you're definitely getting what you pay for in the overall quality. With that said, it's not really a budget friendly option because it is so expensive. After that, we have the Nikon Z 35mm f1.8 S lens. This lens's list price is $849.95, and its discount price is $696.95, giving it an 18% off discount. Again, another product I don't really know a lot about, but the fact that it's made for a newer camera system leads me to believe that the quality can't be that bad. So a discount of approximately $150 off of this lens makes it sound like a pretty good deal. Anyways, that leads us into the next item in this category, which is the Nikon Z6. The listing price of this camera is $1,996.95, and the discount price is $1,596.95, which gives it a discount of 20% off. Now, don't get me wrong, $400 off is definitely a good discount, but when we're talking thousands of dollars, it's not really anything to celebrate about. So unless you're absolutely looking to get into the Nikon mirrorless system, I wouldn't really worry about this deal. Now, for our final deal in this category, we have the Nikon Z50 with the 16 to 50 millimeter f3.5 to 6.3 and the 50 to 250 millimeter f4.5 to 6.3 lenses. This is by far the best bundle deal in the Nikon category, and that's because it comes with a camera and 2 lenses. And I know that the Nikon Z50 was released only a few years ago, so it's definitely going to be high enough quality for any new shooters. Alright, and that wraps up the Nikon category. Now let's get into the final category of this video, Panasonic cameras. Keep in mind, I don't know much about Panasonic cameras, so I'm not going to talk about them that much. Kicking off our Panasonic camera category is the Panasonic Lumix FZ80. This camera was listed at $399, and its discount price is $279.99, giving it a 25% off discount. I don't really know anything about this camera at all, other than I think it's a bridge camera, which is like a cross between a point and shoot and a DSLR. So I guess if you're looking for a really budget friendly option, you could go with this camera. Again, I don't know much about it, so don't take my word for it. Just make sure you do some research on it and look at reviews. That way you can know what the features are, what the specs are, what it's good at, what it's bad at, and you know what you're getting yourself into. Anyways, that leads us into our next camera on the list, which is the Panasonic Lumix G85 with the 12 to 60 millimeter OIS lens. This camera and lens combination's list price is $999.99, and the discount price is $679.99, giving it a discount of 30% off. Now, this is another amazing deal that Panasonic is offering, but I don't know if this is a point and shoot camera or if this lens can be removed from the camera's body. However, $300 off a $1,000 camera is still a really good discount, regardless if it is a point and shoot. And that leads us into our next Panasonic camera, which is the Panasonic Lumix RX100 Mark II. This camera's list price was $997.99, but it dropped down to a discount price of $797.97, giving it a discount percentage of 20% off. Now, I'm almost positive that this camera is a point and shoot camera, so keep that in mind if you are willing to spend $800 on this thing, because I'd say once you get to around $500, I don't know if point and shoot cameras are even worth it anymore, because at that point you can buy at least a DSLR with a cheap lens. Anyways, let's move on to the next item in this category, which is the Panasonic Lumix S1H. I think this is one of Panasonic's few cameras that they offer in full frame, and its list price is $3,997.99, and the discount price is $3,497.99, giving it a discount of 13% off. Now, in my opinion, this camera is totally not worth it. If you're going to be spending around $4,000, you're probably going to want more than just a camera. And no, I don't know the specs or features of this camera, but I do know that there are other camera deals out there, and I'm sure their quality is pretty close to this camera's. Alright, and moving on to our next camera, we have the Panasonic Lumix GH4. Of the few Panasonic cameras I know about, this is one of the ones I am familiar with, so if I was going to recommend any Panasonic camera on this list, it would be this one. Anyways, the list price of this camera is $999.99, and the discount price is $697.99, giving it a discount of 30% off. And that leads us into the final product in this video, which is the Panasonic Lumix GH5S. This is another camera I have heard good things about, and I'm pretty sure it's the newer iteration to the GH4. And its list price is $1,897.99, and its discount price is $1,797.99, which gives it a discount of 5% off. And honestly, I think that discount is pretty horrible. But I don't really know much about this camera, so I can't really say much. I haven't even seen a review on it. Alright, well, we're pretty much done. Alright, well, those are all the best possible early camera deals that I know of, at least on Amazon. A few other places you could check for discounts on camera gear include the actual brand's website, Adorama.com, or B&H Photo and Video. But if you guys do want to check them out on Amazon, make sure you use my links down in the description below. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more just like this one, subscribe by clicking right here. Thank you all for watching, and always remember to capture great moments. Doses.